All right, so here's the thing. I got to tell you guys, I had a revelation last night and I woke up in the middle of the night. And you probably know that Marco Polo I sent this morning was around 6 o'clock, but I'd been up for a few hours because my mind is going 100 miles an hour. And I know this is a God thing. And you'll go through certain times of your life where you get these thoughts and this came from some direction from above. And I'm going to share this with you guys this morning because I know when I do this is going to penetrate your soul this morning. I truly believe it's going to penetrate your soul and it will change the way you think about practice. It really will. And it came to me because we've been talking a lot. Of course, for those of you who are doing marketing with us, we've been talking all the details with marketing. And my son, Austin, has been doing an unbelievable job getting everybody set up. He's been doing all the technical stuff, trying to run his practice, build his family. I mean, he's got a wife who's going to deliver in the next month and a half. And then he's got another nutritional business on the go as well. So he is working, 23 and a half hours a day on this stuff, and he's doing an unbelievable job. But we've been talking a lot about the details of advertising. And here's the thing. I want to give you this comparison this morning because we've been talking about what is going to drive people into your office and what's going to drive quality patients into your office with certain types of offers. And we have said, this morning, we've talked to you guys in the last few days about what different types of offers. And some of you don't want to lower your offers because you don't want to attract low quality patients. And some of you say, well, I want to get as many patients in as possible. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I want you to pay attention to this because this is going to be a beautiful comparison for you and going to make all the difference. I'm going to go and I'm going to change my careers here and I'm going to go sell Ferraris. Okay. And listen to this, because I know darn well I could walk into a Ferrari dealership and I could become the top salesman in that Ferrari dealership right away. And here's why. Because I'm going to try to attract as many people as possible into the Ferrari dealership. And this is my thinking, is that I'm going to offer test drives in a Ferrari. And I'm going to offer them at a very discounted price. In fact, my options are I'm going to offer maybe a $21 Ferrari test drive, or the other salesman says, we don't want any tire kickers in here. We don't want people that are just going to come and go for a joyride. We want to attract more quality people that are going to buy Ferraris, and we're going to charge $75 for our test drive. And I'm going to say it doesn't matter so I want to get as many people as possible, because here's why. So I'm going to charge the $21 and get as many people in for this Ferrari test drive as possible, because here's what the bad salesman does. The bad salesman gets all these people in and he thinks he's attracted some quality buyers by charging a $75 test drive. And then he's going to try to sell them Ferrari. And he's going to talk about the Ferrari and what beautiful lines it has and the paint and the color and the engine. It's a V12 in the Ferrari and it goes from 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. And the tires on the back are about 18 inches wide. And the handling, it handles like a glove, and the leather, beautiful, these Italian leather seats that you sit in that just form to your body. And you feel it when you sit in the seat and you hit the gas, and it throws you back in your seat. And that's the way he's going to try to sell them in the Ferrari. He's going to talk about that Ferrari and he's going to talk about how good that Ferrari is. And I'm going to say, that's not how I'm going to do it. I'm going to attract all these $21 buyers, and I'm going to have 3 times as many potential buyers as him. And sure, there might be some low quality buyers that are coming in for a joyride, but here's how I'm going to get to them. I'm going to get to them by this. I'm going to say, this is a beautiful Ferrari. But here's the thing about the Ferrari is that why do people buy a Ferrari? They don't buy it because there's lots of fast sports cars and you can pay a fraction of the price. Ferraris, what is it? $500,000 to buy a Ferrari? You can go buy a fast Mustang for $60,000. You can go buy a Challenger, with a Hemi engine in it for $80,000, whatever, and still get the same feel from speed. But the Ferrari gives you a feeling. The Ferrari, what it does is it penetrates your spirit. When you're in a Ferrari and you drive the Ferrari, it awakens you. You become alive in that Ferrari. It awakens the spirit. And what happens is you become a different human being when you own a Ferrari, because people look at you differently. Women want to be with you. If you're a woman, guys want to be your sugar husband. There's a stigma that goes with this Ferrari. And when you own a Ferrari, people just assume that you are wealthy. People assume that you have authority. People assume that you are knowledgeable. People are going to respect you. People are going to come to you for advice. All of a sudden, you make that, it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter what your wealth is, but there's this stigma now that you own a Ferrari, that all of a sudden people will look at you differently. You all of a sudden become a different person. And that's how I'm going to sell the Ferrari. I'm going to talk about so much about what that Ferrari does for them. I'm not going to talk about the Ferrari and how good it is and how fast it is and all of its features. I'm going to talk about what the Ferrari does for them. And here's the difference is that let's apply that to chiropractic. And, we make and here's my business plan. I'm going to tell you, listen, if I open up a practice, this is my 1-year business plan. And I guarantee you, I am so certain that I know that I could go open up a practice and within 3 months, I'll be seeing 300 people a week. 6 months, I'll be seeing 500 people a week. And within 1 year, because I'm going to keep pushing this, I'll see 1,000 people a week and I'll be collecting $2 million a year. No problem. Doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter what community it is. I will do it this way. And very simply, it's going to start with my marketing. And I'm going to say, my goal, I want to get as many people in front of me as possible. I don't care what I'm not going to offer a free offer because that devalues it. I'm going to offer as low an offer as possible, $19, $21, whatever it is, to get as many people in front of me as possible. And sure, I might bring them in with some pain triggers and things like that. That's how it works. People get triggered by because that's how they're thinking. They're thinking they want to get out of pain. They want to have more pleasure. That's how people think. I'm going to get them in by that trigger. But when they're in the office, this is where it's going to be different, because I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to say, in my day one initial visit, I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to talk about their pain. I'm going to talk about how it's affecting their life. We always talk about that big why. We always talk about that hot button. We're going to get right to their hot button. How is this affecting their life? What would their life be like if they didn't have that pain? And here's what I'm going to do after I have that conversation. I'm going to ask them, do you mind if I explain to you what we do here? Sure. Okay, fine. I've listened to them. Now they're going to listen to me. Okay. What we do here in our office is different than anywhere else in healthcare. It's different than the medical doctors do. It's different than the physiotherapists do, massage therapists, osteopaths. It's different than other chiropractors do. What we do here is truly, truly unique. And it starts with this. John, you have an incredible power inside your body. You may have come in here with back pain, but this is how I work with it, is that you have a tremendous power inside your body, and that is put there by God. And it's there from the time that you're born to the time that you die. It never leaves you. It is there for every living human being from the time that you're born to the time that you die. And that power that animates your body, that power that heals a cut, that power that beats your heart, that power that allows your lungs to breathe, it heals and allows you to function the way that you're supposed to function, because that power on the physical level runs across those nerves. And if those nerves are clear and working well, that physical body can heal and be as efficient as it ever has in your whole life. Our job is to find out where those nerves are blocked. And we're going to look for something in your spine that we call subluxation. And if we find subluxation, that's choking those nerves. And when it chokes those nerves, what happens is it disrupts the spirit within you. When it chokes those nerves, your body can't function. It can't heal the way that it's supposed to. And things like lower back pain, or even things like heart disease, or things like autoimmune function, or things like cancer start to develop in your body because your body can't comprehend itself. Your body can't function or heal the way that it's supposed to. So here's the thing, John, is that I want you to understand is that we're going to look for these subluxations in your spine. If we find subluxations, we're going to set a course of care to release those subluxations, to remove them, to correct them, and that's going to awaken your spirit. It's going to free those nerves. It's going to allow your body to function at a way that has never functioned ever before. Is that something you'd like to do? There's my day one. Now, listen, are people going to think I'm a kook? Some people are going to think I'm a kook and they might leave. But if I've got 200 people coming in from ads, if my ad spend is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, and I'm getting 200, 250 leads, I'm getting 150, 200 people in the office, guess what? A good portion of them might think they're coming in for a quick fix, A good portion of them might think they're coming in for a quick back pain, a discounted exam, a discounted adjustment. But when they hear that, a good portion of them, a good percentage of them, there's a little light bulb that's going to go on in their mind. There's a switch that's going to flick, and they're going to start to understand, wow, this is something that I was looking for, even though I didn't know I was looking for something. And it happens. I'm telling you, it happens. And it happened in our practice. And listen, this is going back in 2008 when we were in big growth mode and we wanted to really grow. We wanted to get the word out there, and we hired a full-time marketing person. So this is before Facebook. This is before all the social media marketing, all that stuff. So we hired a marketing person, and her 100% job, she didn't work in the office. She worked out the office. Her 100% job was to set up events and set up talks for me to go and speak. And that's what I would do, is I would go to churches, I would go to support groups, I would go to companies, and I was out 3, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week. We were doing makeovers very regularly, and I was out talking to people, and I was sharing that message, that principle with people, is that God put an incredible power inside your body for you to heal that runs across your nerves. And when those subluxations exist, those nerves get choked, and that power can't exist properly. And your body starts to degenerate and die as a result of that. So our job is to release that power, correct those subluxations, get the body functioning the way it's supposed to. And guess what? People heal. It doesn't matter what the affliction is. It doesn't matter what the affirmity is or infirmity is. It doesn't matter. They start to heal. So, and that's what grew our practice. And frankly, we got to 1,200 people a week, and the internal systems were so corrupt in our office, we couldn't handle it. We had to pull back the reins because our staff was getting all frustrated. And also, if we were in a mindset of scaling that, we would have had to get a bigger building, we've had to hire more people, bring on more associates. We just weren't in the position to do that at that time. So it would have just kept going and going and going. And I'm telling you, so that's what I would start with. My exam, after that day 1 consultation, my exam would be very simple. I would go in the room and I would simply feel the spine and say, there's a subluxation, there's a subluxation, there's a subluxation. We need an x-ray. We get an x-ray. I do my day 1 phone call. I bring them in for day 2. I tell them how serious it was on day 2. And I ask them if they want to start care, and they start care. And then I bring them to a doctor's report. And my doctor's report is very simple. It basically talks about subluxation. It talks about the power inside the body and how the power inside the body runs through the nerves, from the brain, above, down, inside out, all through all those peripheral nerves to every single cell, tissue, and organ. And when that power is blocked, I start to decay and die. Very simple. We remove a subluxation and we awaken the spirit. That's what we do. We awaken the spirit within. And people, when their spirit is awake, they think different. They function different. Their hormones are different. Their whole life is different. Their relationships change. Their success change. They reach a new level of just living, of life that they've never reached before. And that's my doctor's report. And very simple, 10 minutes. And if I go into the room and I want to see a lot of people, I'm adjusting 1 or 2 segments. And I'm adjusting a segment and I say, power's on. Your spirit is awake. Go be healed. And then I set up in the office, I set up all these other income streams, whether it's corrective care programs, where they're doing home care, or they're doing traction, or they're doing vibe plates, or they're using a Cerviguard, or maybe we have some of these external pain-based symptoms where we're sharing with them if they want something to do with pain, or they're having knee inflammation or whatnot, just to appease them. We get them on doing some sort of a laser or some sort of a soft wave or something like that. And that's an extra income stream. And the patient's satisfied, but not at the expense of correcting their subluxations. They're still getting their subluxations corrected. We're still awakening the spirit within, but we're appeasing them and getting them some sort of de-inflammation symptoms in our office as well. So that brings in another income stream for me. And then very simply, in the very first month of their care, to create culture in my office, to make sure that they understand, I set up a dinner. And we do a dinner once a month, and we bring those people out to dinner once a month. And very simple, all the new patients come out to dinner, and I share with them the story. I share with them the principle of chiropractic, and I share with them my mission as a chiropractor, because it stems from this. It stems from the fact that my mother, God bless her, she was a stay-at-home mom, and all she did for our family was take care of myself and my sister and she kept a wonderful house, and she would make meals every night. My dad would come home from work every day, and she would have dinner ready, and always the dinner was, it was always a good dinner. It was a home cooked meal every time. We would always have dessert. But the problem is my mom didn't know anything about keeping herself healthy. She ate improperly. She gained a lot of weight. She was a smoker for most of her life, and she drank excessively. She didn't know about keeping her body healthy. And I'm sharing this story with people because I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we set up in our office nutritional programs. And I've hired a CA, or I've hired a nutritionist to do a nutritional program in my office to make sure that those people are eating well, that they're on the proper supplements, and there's accountability. And that's part of my plan in my office. So it all comes together. So I share that story with them at the dinner, and I say, I'm not letting that happen to anybody, because my mom passed away in 2012 in my arms of a heart attack. It was devastating. It still haunts me. I'm not letting that happen to anybody else. And then the other tragedy is my sister, who got caught up in a corrupt medical system. And in fact, she had a polyp in her colon, and they scared the crap out of her so badly that this polyp in her colon was really benign and no problem. They scared the crap out of her that within 2 weeks she was in for surgery, and after the surgery she had radiation and she had chemo, and it was the radiation and chemo that killed her. 2 years later, she was dead at the age of 45. My sister at 45 was dead because of a corrupt medical system, and I'm not letting that happen to anybody. Nobody in my practice is getting into that stupid, corrupt medical system. You keep your body functioning well, you get chiropractic care, you awaken the spirit within, your body's functioning and healing the way it should be, and then you put in good essentials, lifestyle essentials, good nutrition, good exercise, and positive mindset. And I set up my care plans based on that. So everybody that comes in, nobody will leave without a care plan. And I'm going to close probably 90% of these people, because I have a waterfall of care plans. I have a waterfall of care plans from my very high ticket care plan, which is probably around $2,000 a month, which is my inner circle of patients that get full access to me. They get my email, they get my cell number, they can call or text me anytime. And we have a coaching call once a month with those people. And they're paying $2,000 a month for that service, ongoing, monthly recurring revenue to be in that inner circle. And every week, I'm talking to them about just lifestyle. I'm talking to them about relationships. I'm talking to them about inspiration. I'm telling them about the tragedies in the medical system. I'm talking to them about building wealth and building great fundamental foundations for their families. I'm talking to them about some of the stuff that's worked for us in the past. That's what I'm doing with my inner circle. And I do that once a month on a Zoom call with all these people, but they're paying $2,000 a month for that care plan, because there's people that come in, even if they come in for a $21 first exam, a discounted exam, because they have back pain, and you inspire them enough, they're wanting to pay to be around you when you have a mission. When you're on a mission, and when your purpose is to serve God by serving man through chiropractic. And that's really, truly my purpose. When I'm on fire about things, I am here to serve God. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm here to glorify God, because God gave us a gift with chiropractic. It is the closest thing to sharing the principle with people of chiropractic, to get faith in their body and faith in a power that's above them. So this is our gift to glorify God. That's my purpose, is to help them understand the principle of chiropractic. And by doing that, I glorify God by doing that. So I get them in my inner circle, and they pay for that care plan. They don't want to do that, then we have 6 different levels of care plans, from $2,000 a month, and they go down for our full corrective care program, something like what Dr. Corey does. And then there's our intensive care program, and then there's our weekly maintenance program, and then everything down to 2 adjustments a month, which is like $99 a month. Big deal. Everybody can afford $99 a month. You're crazy if you say you can't. That's ridiculous. It's just a priority thing. And if your priority is to say, I want my spirit awakened within, I want my innate to flow across my nerves, I want to feel alive, I want to feel the best that I've ever felt, I want to be the best version of me, then $99 a month is a bargain. So, and if anybody doesn't want one of those care plans, then they're welcome to come back anytime they want to. So here's, and this is the way I'm building my practice. And everybody's coming out to the dinner. I share my heart with them. I share the story of my mom. I share the story of my sister. And then the last thing I share with them is the fact that I know chiropractic saves lives, because it saved my life. my life, I would be dead right now. I was on the deathbed and I was seriously praying to God to take my life because I thought I was going to be a paraplegic after my accident. April 28th, 2013, when I had that motorcycle crash and I landed on my head and broke 4 bones in my neck. And the doctor gave us the bleakest news possible that she thought there was permanent nerve damage. And I said to Kim, I remember saying to Kim, listen, if that's the case, I don't want to be around. I want you to kill me. I seriously wanted to die. And it was only by the grace of God that going to that hospital and that chief surgeon in Hamilton General Hospital, Hamilton Health Sciences, the chief spinal surgeon came to us and said, get this, he said that your husband is alive because of chiropractic care. He said, I don't know how this happened, but he has a perfect lordotic curve in his neck, and that's what saved his life. So it's the chiropractic care that he's been getting through his life that saved him to maintain that curve. That's exactly what he said to Kim. And of course, I'm pumped up on morphine. I didn't know this, but she told me this afterwards. And he said, I have never seen a vertebrae that is so shattered and so damaged. 32 different fracture segments in C7. And he said, I've never seen one with that many fracture segments or fracture pieces not burst. He said it stayed like a windshield. When a stone hits a windshield and it shatters, it stayed in perfect place. And he said, all we need to do is brace this up. And he said, God, he actually said, quote, God can heal this better than I can. Your husband doesn't need surgery. I had this brace on for 3 months. I went back in the office after 2 months with a brace on my neck, and I started seeing new patients. That was an interesting time. So, so I know chiropractic works. I know chiropractic saved my life. And when you guys start owning this, when you start owning the fact that subluxation kills people, subluxation is the worst thing. There's 2 things that kill people on the face of this earth. That's subluxation and medication. Why is that? Because they both disconnect the spirit from the physical body. They disconnect man the physical from man the spiritual. And when you're disconnected from the spirit, when you're disconnected from this power within you, you can't thrive. You can't become the best version of you. Screw the back pain. I mean, you can't function properly. You can't heal. Cancer cells are replicating in your body because the innate inside your body can't control them. So start understanding that what you do in your office, it changes lives. It saves lives. When you get this in your mind, you'll start to grow like crazy in your office. And that's all you have to do is just start talking to people differently. So I'm going to tell you, when it comes to advertising, don't fool yourself by thinking that a $45 offer or a $75 offer is going to be bringing more quality patients than a $21 offer. That's asinine. That's absolutely delusional. Get right on the inside of your office. Start talking to people differently. Become a different version of you. Start honoring God by what you do and serving him, and forget about what the world and what the boards and what your school has taught you. That's all crap. What matters is that people understand the principle, because the principle is God-given. God gave it to the Palmers. The Palmers gave it to the profession of chiropractic, and it's our job to serve people by serving that principle.